Canto 1, Chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service. In the previous chapter, the sages of Naimisharanya asked 6 questions to Srila Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami thanked the sages and attempted to reply. First of all, Suta Goswami offered his obeisances to Srila Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami was a very, very renounced person, and he could easily enter the hearts of everybody. At a very early age, he left home without undergoing any reformatory ceremonies, and his father cried out in separation for him, but only the trees echoed. This Shukadeva Goswami was the spiritual master of all the sages, and out of his causeless compassion for all the materialists, he spoke after his personal assimilation of the cream of Vedic scriptures, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. So after offering his obeisances to such a great personality, Shukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami then offers his obeisances to Naranarayana Rishi, Mother Saraswati, and Srila Vyasadeva. That is the famous verse, Narayanam Namaskritya. Then he told the sages that the questions you are asking is really wonderful because your questions are directly related to Krishna, and such questions are capable of benefiting all and they completely satisfy the self. So after offering obeisances and appreciating the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya, Suta Goswami slowly began to answer these questions. Suta Goswami first answered questions 1 and 2. What is the supreme occupation and what is the essence of all scriptures? So he said, the supreme occupation, paro dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain unmotivated and uninterrupted loving devotional service to the Lord that completely satisfies the self. This is also a famous verse, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti raddokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Then he said, Bhakti unto Lord Krishna enables one to immediately acquire causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. That is the essence of all scriptures. So, after answering the first 2 questions that were asked by the sages of Naimisharanya, next, Suta Goswami, he began to speak about why Varnashram Dharma is actually not Parodharma. He said occupational duties are actually considered only a useless labor if they do not provoke attraction to the Lord's messages. So, one's occupational duties must be performed, but they must be performed in such a way that it leads to the ultimate liberation. So, just being stuck with material dharma, artha, kama, moksha cannot go too far unless our occupational duties are done in such a way that it attracts the attention of the Lord. It is not really of any use. Life's desires shouldn't be directed for sense gratification, but by maintaining a healthy life for self-preservation, one should inquire about the absolute truth. And what is this absolute truth? What is the tattva? Absolute truth is actually defined as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Vadanti tat tattvavedas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmaeti bhagavaneti shabdyate. So that is the definition of the absolute truth. Then he spoke about the process of realizing the absolute truth. So those who are seriously inquisitive, they should realize this absolute truth by performing devotional service. This is the ultimate essence of all the Vedanta. The only purpose of Varnashram is also only to please Lord Hari. Therefore, with one pointed attention and focus, only on devotional service should be performed. One should perform devotional service by hearing about, glorifying, remembering, and worshipping the Lord with one pointed attention. And the qualifications for such a bhakti is actually faith in the Lord's messages. So with a sword in the hand, intelligent men, they cut through all the binding knots of this karma by remembering the Supreme Lord. When such are the greatness of the Supreme Lord, who wouldn't hear the Lord's messages? After this, he begins to describe about the progress in bhakti. So, the progress in bhakti is actually described from verses 16 to 21. But the same thing is described by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur by the 9 stages of devotional service, beginning with Adav Shraddha. So, first we have Shraddha, which is faith, then Sadhu Sangha, which is association with devotees, Bhajana Kriya, doing our bhajan, then Anartha Nivritti, all the material desires and all the unwanted things are cleared out from the heart, and then there is Nishta, there is steadiness. After that, there is Ruchi, taste begins to appear, and then there is Asakti, which is firm attachment, and after that, there is Bhava or Rati and Prema. So, after describing these wonderful stages in devotional service, he says that actually, even in sadhana bhakti, there should be no difficulties. All transcendentalists, they have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna with great delight, because devotional service by itself is very enlivening to the heart. Devotional service, as you perform, it gives you a lot of happiness. So therefore, devotional service must be performed incessantly. So like this, he answered the questions on bhakti. Then Suta Goswami he began to answer that only the point that only Lord Krishna should be worshipped. Who should be the object of bhakti? Bhakti is for Krishna only. So, in the next section, he began to speak about the glories of Bhagavan as the topmost object of worship. And to clarify that point, he first of all said that the guna avatars of Vishnu are very, very wonderful. He speaks about Brahma, he speaks about Shiva, and he speaks about Vishnu. But he talks about the greatness of Lord Vishnu, because Vishnu is situated in the form of pure goodness. So, rejecting unwanted demigod worship, one should concentrate one's mind on the blissful forms of Narayan and his incarnations. So, desiring material benefits who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, they can worship demigods, they will worship demigods. But real devotion means one who worships Vishnu only. So, Suta Goswami, he speaks like this, and then he says the essence of all processes is actually Vasudeva. The essence of everything that you do is for Vasudeva. The ultimate objects of Vedas is Krishna. The purpose of sacrifice is to please Krishna. Yoga is for realizing Krishna. Fruitive activities are rewarded by Krishna. Krishna is the supreme knowledge. Austerities are performed to know Krishna. Religion, dharma, is loving service to Krishna. And the supreme goal of life is Sri Krishna. So like this, he also spoke about the Purusha avatars who orchestrate the material creation. So he spoke about this, and then he started speaking about Karanodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu, right? So these are the Purusha avatars. So he began speaking about them in detail. So he said Karanodakshai Vishnu, in the beginning of material creation, by his own potency, he created the universe composed of the modes of material cause and effect. And then Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Shirodakshai Vishnu, they actually entered the universe, and they further were responsible for the created beings. And however, all these Vishnus are always transcendently situated. And as the super soul of all things, he pervades into everything, and he also enters the body of all living entities, this Shirodakshai Vishnu. So like this, the Purusha avatars were further explained by Srila Suta Goswami. Then the third question that was asked was answered. He said, the Lord maintains all the planets inhabited by demigods, men and lower animals, assuming various incarnations. He performs pastimes to claim those people who are situated in pure goodness. So like this, he also answered about the Lord's purpose of the Lord's appearance. That was question 3. The purpose of the Lord's appearance was also answered. Question 4 was also answered, because question 4 was directing towards the Purusha avatars. So like this, actually, at least 4 questions are answered in this particular chapter. And the same questions are answered in more detail in the following chapters, which we will see in the next few chapters of this particular canto. Hare Krishna.